Ever walk into a gym and wonder, okay, is that physique, natural talent, discipline, hard work, or a little something extra?
Yeah.
Today's deep dive tackles that question head on.
It's a question that's more loaded than I think most people
Yeah,
realize.
it really is. We're diving into this YouTube video where these three fitness enthusiasts, they're trying to guess if people are natty.
Natty, meaning they've built their bodies naturally.
Right, natty meaning natural or not natty, which,
Yeah.
implies the use of, what's the term? Performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs for short.
And PEDs in this context usually refer to substances like anabolic steroids, things that can really accelerate muscle growth beyond what's naturally possible.
Ah, so we're talking more than just protein shakes and creatine here. Now, our three judges in the video, we've got Scott, he's a fitness coach, Jason, a student athlete, and Patty, a fitness content creator.
Yeah.
And they put their experience to the test trying to figure this out. But even they struggle to tell who's using what.
Which I think is actually kind of reassuring for anybody who's ever felt intimidated or insecure at the gym.
Oh, absolutely.
It just highlights how easy it is to misjudge based solely on appearances.
Right. You see someone who looks like they've been sculpted by Michelangelo himself, and you jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
But this deep dive is all about going beyond the surface level. We'll explore the challenges of trying to spot PED use, the myths surrounding it, and the ethical dilemmas it presents.
Because what we're really after here is a more nuanced understanding of physique and performance.
Exactly. Now, in this video, our trio relies on some, let's say, creative methods to make their judgments.
Unconventional might be the more diplomatic term.
Okay, unconventional. I like it. They have people walking in, doing squats, push-ups, even striking impromptu bodybuilding poses.
It's like a fitness talent show with a side of speculation.
Yeah. But it begs a question. Do these feats of strength, do they actually reveal anything about PED use?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, can you really tell someone's natty just by watching them do a few reps?
It's tempting to think so, right? But, the human body is capable of incredible things, with or without chemical assistance.
So are those 20 clap push-ups just a testament to dedication and good genes?
Possibly. Genetics actually play a huge role in muscle building potential. Some people are just naturally predisposed to gaining muscle and strength more easily.
So two people could be following the exact same workout routine and diet, but end up looking totally different.
Exactly. And it's not just genetics at play here. Training style is crucial. Someone who focuses on, let's say, powerlifting, they're going to develop a completely different physique than someone who's really into calisthenics, even if neither of them is using PEDs.
Okay, so if a ripped physique and oppressive strength aren't these foolproof indicators, what about athletic performance? Because in the video, Jason mentioned something about Olympic weightlifters.
Right. So he observes a participant with a really powerful vertical jump, and he recalls his coach saying that Olympic weightlifters, they often have jumps, like the highest jumps, not necessarily the most muscular individuals.
That's kind of mind-blowing, actually. So someone who might not fit that stereotypical image of super athlete could actually be hiding incredible power beneath the surface.
Precisely. It really throws a wrench into that whole judging a book by its cover approach.
Right, so we've established that looks can be deceiving, and even athletic prowess doesn't tell the whole story. But this video goes even deeper. It explores how our assumptions about someone's personality and behavior can really cloud our judgment.
And this is where the natty or not game gets really interesting and potentially problematic.
And we're back for part 2 of our Natty or Not deep dive, where we're learning that judging someone's fitness journey based on appearances, well, it's about as reliable as a weather forecast in a hurricane.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty accurate analogy. And in this next part of the video, we really start to see how our assumptions about somebody's personality, even just their demeanor, that can be just as misleading as fixating on their physique.
Right, because it's not just about how much weight someone can lift or how ripped they look. This video also includes interviews, so we get a little glimpse into each person's personality, their training philosophy.
And this is where things get really fascinating. For instance, we meet this guy, Trey, who walks in looking like he could bench press a small car.
I'm picturing that right now.
Right.
I bet Scott, our resident fitness coach, he picked him as not natty right away.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Scott even points out Trey's physique, his tattoos. He's like, your biceps are extremely large. You have a tattoo of a guy flexing. I'm going to say not natural.
Yeah, sounds about right based on, first impressions. So, case closed.
Well, not quite. Turns out Trey's been lifting naturally for 14 years.
Wow.
He talks about how he grew up in a very fitness-oriented family, and he just wanted to stay in shape after he moved to Los Angeles.
Wow. Talk about a plot twist.
Mm.
It just goes to show, even with experience, it's so easy to fall into that trap of, judging based on appearances and stereotypes.
Absolutely. And it makes you think, how often do we do this in everyday life, not just in the gym, right? We form these opinions based on this very limited information. We're often influenced by these unconscious biases.
It's a bit humbling, isn't it? It makes you want to be a little more mindful of those snap judgments. So if judging someone's nattiness isn't just about the physical, what other clues do they pick up on in the video?
Well, one recurring theme is confidence, or rather, the lack thereof. Several times, both Scott and Jason, the student athlete, they admit to being thrown off by someone's demeanor. They'd see someone incredibly muscular, but they seemed kind of shy or reserved, and it would make them second-guess their initial assessment.
Interesting. So are you saying that someone who's genuinely confident in their physique, regardless of whether it's achieved naturally or with PEDs, they might actually be less likely to be called out?
It seems that way, yeah. The video seems to suggest that we might unconsciously associate PED use with a certain level of, I don't know, maybe outward confidence, maybe even a little bit of arrogance, which of course may not always be the case in reality.
Right. So we're talking about a whole other layer of psychological projection going on here.
Exactly. And to add another layer of complexity, imagine someone who's worked incredibly hard to achieve their physique naturally. They might be intentionally humble about it, knowing that people might assume they've had help.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone's trying to decipher a secret code, but nobody has the right key.
Yeah.
So with all these layers of complexity, is it even possible to have an honest conversation about PEDs in the fitness world?
That's the million-dollar question. And, this isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. This directly impacts you, the listener, especially if you're new to the fitness world and you're bombarded with these images of these seemingly perfect bodies.
You're right. This isn't just a game for internet points. It gets at something much deeper. The pressure to achieve a certain look and the anxieties that come with it.
And that's where we'll pick up in part 3 as we delve into the ethical implications of this natty or not culture and how it relates to your own personal fitness journey.
Welcome back to the final part of our natty or not deep dive. We've seen how tricky it is to separate fact from fiction when it comes to physiques,
Yeah.
and how our own biases, can lead us down some pretty twisty paths.
For sure. And it's here in this final part of the video that the focus kind of shifts, from playing detective
Right.
to addressing the deeper implications of this whole natty or not game, especially for, those who are maybe newer to the fitness world.
Which is something I think a lot of listeners can relate to, right? You walk into a gym,
Absolutely.
you see someone who looks like they were, I don't know, born with a protein shake in hand,
Right.
and it's easy to just feel inadequate.
Yeah, it's that instant comparison.
Yeah.
But what's refreshing about this video is that it features people with, a really diverse range of fitness goals and backgrounds, right? You have folks who are just there to stay active alongside, those who are prepping for bodybuilding competitions.
Yeah, and even with all their experience, our 3 judges, Scott, Jason, and Patty,
Right.
they often find themselves totally surprised by the end results.
Yeah.
It really highlights that point, that you can't judge a fitness journey by its outward appearance.
Exactly. And I think Patty, the fitness content creator, she kind of sums it up beautifully when she says that being in the fitness world has taught her not to judge because, everyone is there for their own purposes. And, a lot of it is like self-fulfillment.
It's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, especially with social media constantly bombarding us with these images of like seemingly perfect bodies.
Oh, absolutely.
But the reality is,
Yeah.
everyone is on their own unique path.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the most, I think, powerful moments in the video is when David, a competitive bodybuilder, he reveals that he competes naturally, even against, others who use PEDs.
Wow.
And his dedication to his craft is amazing. But what's even more striking is his humility.
I can only imagine the pressure he must face competing at that level while staying true to his values.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's heard his fair share of skepticism, but he doesn't let it faze him, He's chosen his path, and that's what matters. And I think it's a really powerful reminder for all of us to focus on our own journey, our own goals, our own definition of progress.
It's like that old saying, right? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
When we're constantly measuring ourselves against others, we lose sight of our own accomplishments and what truly motivates us.
For sure. And as the creators of the video so aptly put it, you have no idea what someone else is doing. You're not the same person. Your starting point, things that you have going for you, are not the same as them. You're not going to look the same, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
It's true.
It's so true, and it's so important to remember. So if there's one takeaway from this whole deep dive, it's this. Let's ditch the natty or not game, okay? It's a distraction from what truly matters. Finding joy in the journey, challenging ourselves, and becoming the healthiest, strongest versions of ourselves
Right.
on our own terms.
Absolutely. It's about celebrating individual progress, not,
Yeah.
striving for some unattainable ideal.
Yeah. And to you, our listener, we leave you with this. Be kind to yourself, celebrate your own progress, no matter how big or small, and remember, true strength comes in many forms, and it doesn't always fit neatly into a box labeled natty or not natty.
Well said.
And that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, everybody.